If you're Gen Z like me, you probably remember your preteen to teenage years filled with songs mentioning partying a lot. The club can't even handle me right now. The DJ got us falling in love, low, and Jersey Shore was huge during the time.
That's right, you ready to shake it? Yeah.
Where's the DJ at?
Clubbing was the thing, but it seems songs nowadays don't really mention clubbing at all. And reality shows revolve around love triangles instead of getting drunk or going to the club. The club scene seems to have taken a nosedive. Now, why is this? Well, there's a few reasons actually, but let's start with the first. The loneliness epidemic.
Are you lonely?
Yeah.
How come?
Are you gonna make me emotional?
Are you lonely?
Am I lonely?
Jesus Christ. It's tough. Like, I have a very social job. I live with 3 other people. I have 3 different romantic partners. I should say no.
But?
Exactly, but.
According to the most recent Healthy Minds monthly poll conducted by the American Psychiatric Association, a large portion of adults reported experiencing loneliness on a regular basis in early 2024. Specifically, 30% of respondents noted feeling lonely at least once a week throughout the past year, while 10% indicated experiencing daily loneliness. The survey also highlighted that younger individuals were more prone to feeling lonely, with 30% of those aged 18 to 34 reporting experiencing loneliness daily or several times a week. It gets even worse, specifically for men. Men have experienced a decline in close friendships. Women have also experienced this, but less pronounced. According to the Survey Center on American Life, the percentage of men with at least 6 close friends has fallen by half since 1990. 1 in 5 single men says he has 0 close friends. In 1990, approximately 45% of young men stated that their initial inclination when facing a personal issue was to seek support from their friends. However, today, merely 22% of young men turn to their friends for assistance during tough times. And I can't help but imagine the possibilities for why this might be. I think it's pretty obvious to most. Technology. While social media has done a pretty decent job at connecting people who might not have connected in real life, it's gone too far. Similar to how a casino tries every way to keep you engaged in the bet by not having windows, no clocks, letting you win then letting you lose, social media acts pretty much in the same way. It's geared to keep you hooked for hours. It literally is a ticket to addiction, and I find it a bit reckless and cruel that those who created these apps just let them loose on children to keep them hooked.
And now we have the iPad and the smartphone. But while they are great restaurant distractions, what are all those touchscreens doing to all those growing little brains?
It's even more baffling when they set limits for their own children, so they fully understand the detriment. They just don't seem to care. So of course no one's going out. They have technology to keep them entertained, a slot machine in their hands for constant entertainment. We're all distracted. But it's not only social media to blame, of course. Another is cost. It's expensive to run a venue, and drink prices seem to keep rising along with cover fees. I know most people my age just plain don't have the extra money to spend. For those who can afford it, and for those who don't live in major cities, there seems to be a lack of options. At a certain point, people get tired of going to the club where they can't hear their friends talk because the music's blaring too loud. It's not exactly a place to connect on a deeper level. Bars and clubs are shutting down. It seems now the most popular option is to find entertainment at home through streaming or whatever else might be on your phone, TV, or computer. While a lot of people cite the pandemic as the cause of the club culture decline, I don't think that's the root cause. It definitely escalated it, but I don't think it's the main cause. Music is a culture's lifeblood. If we see the most popular hits of each year, we can see a steady decline in the songs alluding to clubs, dancing, and partying. Starting in 2003, 50 Cent's In Da Club sparked a new surge of electronic club music, and in each consecutive year, for the most part, it continues, up until 2010. In 2010, we see Kesha's song TikTok blow up. The perfect party song about getting drunk, partying, and waking up feeling like P. Diddy. Interesting to note, by the way, she did change the lyrics at her most recent Coachella performance following the allegations against him. But after 2010, we see a halt to songs alluding to club culture. This is where I see a major difference between Gen Z and millennials. I might be painting with a broad brush right now, but to distill it down, millennials seem to have been sold this idea about the world from their boomer parents. They were told that to get a degree would be the ticket to success. So they hunkered off to college, with 2010 being the peak year of college enrollment. 21 million students were enrolled. And what do kids do at college? They party. The college I live close to was actually deemed the nation's #1 party school by the Princeton Review in 2013. That was the thing to do at college. The idea sold. You go to college, party, and have fun, get the degree, get out, and make that money. But Gen Z was sold a different idea. The prices keep rising, money taken going to more luxurious accommodations, gyms, and stadiums.
You've probably heard about skyrocketing college tuition. But what you may not know is what many colleges are actually doing with all that money.
This has dropped enrollment down from 21 million to 18 million in 2023. And realizing that a degree doesn't really equate to happiness, considering there's a lot of unhappy employees that hate their jobs, they opt for something else entirely. I would consider Gen Z to be the entrepreneurial generation, the freelance generation. They're nihilistic about most things, but they still have to find a way to play the game. So technology use, lack of options, declining college enrollment, all seem to have been contributing to the decline in club culture or partying culture. But there's still one major factor we haven't covered that's often overlooked, and that would be dating apps. Tinder blew up around 2013, and what we see now are countless apps to pick from as far as dating goes. Most, if not all, club songs allude to hookups. It's a common trope. But when Tinder came out, it changed the game. Now you don't have to go to a physical space to find someone. You can literally just get on your phone and swipe like you're picking through a bag of chips. Before 1990, the most common way for couples to meet was through friends. After 1990, we see a major uptick in couples meeting online, with it increasing up until a little after 2010, where it overtook meeting through friends and has stayed #1 since. So we see all these factors coming together, but there's still one more thing, the nail in the coffin, and that would be COVID-19. The pandemic changed everything, with bars, restaurants, and coffee shops closing down. A lot of people became comfortable staying in during that time, and the trend seems to have continued, though there was a slight uptick after the pandemic and restrictions were lifted, but I suspect that too will decrease. The key demographic for nightclub goers are people from the ages of 18 to 34. Taking a step back from statistics and graphs, what do people who are in those age ranges say about clubs, their own opinions? This person cites COVID as a contributor, as well as aging out of it. And another person says that home entertainment is to blame, as well as monetary reasons. And last but not least, one of the most popular opinions was the preference for just plain peace and quiet. This, to me, seems to be the most popular reason. The atmosphere of bars and clubs seem to encourage numbing yourself to the point where you don't have sensory perception, with alcohol, drugs, and music all playing their part, to almost numb yourself to closer connections. In this time we're in, we're seeking more, and that doesn't just mean from what the world has to offer, but from our close connections with others as well. The younger generations are looking for ways to connect with people in ways that actually foster conversation and the possibility of new friendships. We're wanting third places. You see it everywhere. We lack third places. Places that aren't your home, that aren't your work, but are a place where the community can gather. Places where you can engage either in direct social interaction through small talk and activities, or indirect social interaction while being surrounded by people with similar interests to yourself. There's been a rapid decline in these places since the beginning of the information age. Yes, a lot of people claim, well, these places are just moving online. Well, yes, they are, but they aren't providing the same sense of satisfaction as you get from in-person interaction. Studies show that more time spent on social media is associated with higher levels of loneliness. The reason people become lonely is the lack of connection. Connection is created through understanding by realizing, well, you're a lot like me. We have a lot in common. I can see from your point of view. We're linked in some way. It's a lot like empathy by seeing through another person's point of view. You just don't get that nearly as deeply online as you do in person. Online interactions are fleeting. Sometimes you don't even know what the person looks like. It's just words on a screen. Hard to feel connected that way. Can we rectify the concept of third places? It seems this younger generation is looking for more places to pursue hobbies with like-minded people. Dedicated spaces to pursue things like pottery, music, gardening, playing games. Places where you don't have to spend a ton of money to enjoy. No pounding music, but good songs with a lowered volume. Decently decorated where the atmosphere is cozy and not sterile. Looking at different forums and blog posts, this seems to be the most popular idea. A hobby center. And I agree with this sentiment. I've moved to a few different places in my life, and if you aren't a student or don't work a very social job, it can be pretty hard to make friends. Meetup seems to be a popular recommendation, but upon looking at the different groups, most don't get a lot of people attending, and if they do, they are of a very different age demographic. I do think that as this issue continues to rise in the public's mind, more solutions will be found. With the rise of work-from-home jobs and social media careers, I think we'll start to see more people desperate to find their third place. Most are tired of rotting in their bedrooms on their phone and want to live more exciting lives not characterized by a life online or at work. And I hope that in my lifetime, we find it. I think we will.